I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to our June 1st council meeting. We'll start with our roll call, Matt.
Councillor Halter.
Here.
Batolo.
Here.
West. Hickerson.
Here.
Savage.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Demas.
Here.
Zadi.
Here.
Maricomo.
Here, councilors, first order of business side to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the special city council meeting of May 11th, 2021. City council meeting minutes of May 18th, 2021.
Your Honor.
Councilman Batolo,
So moved.
we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have one item in our bid opening section for the Rock Springs Family Recreation Center gym floor repair. And we have one bidder, Whited, W-H-I-T-E-D, floor surfacing out of Casper, Wyoming. Okay, the bid bond is attached. We have a total bid of $105,000. 105. And this bid will be turned over to staff for review and recommendation to the city council. And that's going to bring us right into the petitions section of our agenda. Is there anyone here tonight wishing to address the city council on any issue? If you please come on down to the mic, make sure that the button is turned on, the light is green, state your name for the record if you would, your address, and how many are here tonight to speak?
It's all there for the food cart.
Okay, so the 3-minute limit. Kristen will keep the time. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Lori Davis. I live at 1049 Truman Street. I'd kind of like to know how I can keep my food cart going. My hand-up food cart, it's nonprofit. It just helps families that are spending their money on bills or what they need to spend their money on. And it helps with kids and food, and I don't know what else to say. It just helps people, and it's not costing anything.
It's done out of our home in our driveway right now.
And your name is?
I'm Glenn. I'm Lori's husband.
Okay, first off, I'm sure you spent some time discussing the ordinances with,
Ms. Green, yes.
and Lori, I believe I spoke with you on the 21st of May.
Yes.
We went through several options that would allow you to continue doing what you were doing, and
Yes.
you seem to be okay with that, but
Well,
as
yes.
always, social media is there. And,
I understand.
We're here to find out exactly how she has to operate to keep this running.
Man, if you could just give me a minute.
That's fine.
So anyway, we had some pretty good options, that being the food bank, that being possibly the Eagles, the Legion. Our housing department actually offered to allow that to continue. Or I believe you were even told to at least just move the items inside the garage so that your neighbors weren't complaining. So
Yes.
we understand you have a great heart. a great idea. There's ways to keep this moving, but usually what happens is the city doesn't go out and look for those issues. It's usually a complaint, usually from a neighbor. That's the case. So in a residential neighborhood, obviously you can't have food out on a shelf in the sun and sitting out in your driveway. And I believe I spoke with you, and I wrote this down. You have 20 to 25 visitors a day.
Yes,
So it brings up the traffic count in your neighborhood. So those people with children and the like get a little bit concerned. But you can imagine being in a residential area, that's just something that the ordinances doesn't allow. But there are options. And I believe you've been, Laura's here with us today. She can get up and explain to you what you can do to continue. Kathy Green, I believe you spoke to in the planning department, also offered some pretty good ideas to keep that moving. And you even had some concerns about, I believe, baby formula was one of the items that just you can't leave out in the
Right.
pantry. But so, have you looked into any of those options?
I cannot afford a building, to rent a building to give away free food. I have it covered now. I also have a motorcycle shed that I was gonna put it in where it's completely enclosed, and it's in the backyard. So, I mean, they'd still have access to my property for them to come and go. A lot of them walk down from the Madison Apartments, whether it be elderly or young kids, to still come get food.
Okay, first off, there's two of you, so we'll just go 6 minutes, and we're already on the other 3 minutes because we make sure that we do this. And counselors, I don't know if you've received the emails or not, but if you have any comments, we'll let everybody speak, and we'll try to give Lori some guidance forward. Any? Let's,
Actually, just some
go ahead, Counselor.
questions. Yes. For Laura, just to kind of clarify. This is in an R2 zoning district. Doesn't require, or doesn't allow for business use or occupancy. The issue really is, in order to fix this, we would have to have it, would have to be hidden, and there wouldn't have, it couldn't be known that there's some business operation there, even though it's not for profit or whatever. That's really kind of the hinge, the point of contention here. Is that, could you kind of clarify that for everybody?
It's okay, no, you're fine. For those that don't know me, I'm Laura Lee. I'm the city planner for Rock Springs. You're absolutely correct, Councilor Zadi. In an R2 district, there's very few uses that are actually allowed in an R2 zoning district. Single-family site-built homes, single-family modular homes, public parks. I provided in an email, business use is not permitted. So what we were doing, and what Ms. Green spoke to Ms. Davis about, was the only way we could allow something like this is if it's classified as a home occupation. So to classify it as a home occupation, that's where the idea comes, bring it indoors so that the neighborhood can't see it, just like any home occupation. So you're limited to
Appointments type of thing.
pickup, delivery. I mean, we appreciate the service that is being done. It's just we have to make it fit within a residential neighborhood. And to do that, it has to fit within the home occupation requirements.
So, thanks, Laura, but
Yeah.
just to, Lori, back to you then. If you have 20, 25 people a day, how do you control, do people just come and go as they want?
They come from 8 o'clock in the morning until 7:30 at night.
It's not stacked up. It's a car, then they're gone for a while, then maybe another car, then maybe another car. We never get more than 2 cars there at a time.
So are these pickups?
Yeah,
Yes,
picking up-
they're
Explain-
picking up food
Can
or
you-
dropping off food.
Oh, so this is pickups and
And
drop-offs?
deliveries,
That's what I
yes.
was wondering.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
got a small enclosed trailer at the end of the driveway for, it says donations, so they can put it inside, and she can display it later.
So what about the perishable items, meat,
We've got a
produce
freezer and a refrigerator.
in the driveway?
Right.
Okay, so home occupancy permit, basically, it would need to be inside.
Right.
Okay.
So I thought we were at that point before.
We just cleaned up the driveway, we're at that point now, we can put it in the shed behind the fence.
Okay, well, I think okay, we've had that discussion. I'd like to hear from anybody else who's here. Who's here in support and who is here in opposition? Because that's the problem with these meetings. We've had numerous phone calls. Obviously, they don't want to show up because they don't want their name out there and they're in opposition, but we have many calls. Because it's similar to that. You take, for example, you live in a neighborhood, this wasn't your idea, your neighbor shows up and decides to do this, and all of a sudden, every day you come home and there's 20, 25 cars all day going on.
That's
So
what we're trying to avoid.
this city council has to enforce the ordinances, but also try to keep everybody happy, It's not about taking away constitutional rights. I mean, I'm telling you, I tried to help out at the beginning. I was ran through the coals. All of a sudden I was, I don't even want to go there. It was not good, but,
Guys, all we're wanting to do is find out what we need to do to make everybody
right.
appeased and make them happy.
Well, I think, what we've discussed so far, that's what needs to be done. It needs to be inside.
Like I said, we've opened up the yard, which was a mess. But we've got a bike shed, we've got it fenced, so we can open it up, she can open it up, the freezer and everything will be inside, it'll all be covered,
And I believe a time frame was given
June 1st.
June 1st,
It's done.
today.
You can drive by now, it's,
Okay. Well, let's hear from others, if we could,
okay?
and let them have their chance to speak if they wish.
Question real quick.
Councilman Batolo.
Do you have power and everything to this shed so that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay. So whoever's next, come on up. You have 3 minutes. State your name and address if you would, and so Kristen could get you noted into the record. And go ahead and give us your comments.
My name is Sonia Galegas. I'm the owner of Hoarder's Corner Thrift Store located at 1659 Elk Street on Elk Street. This is Nikki Callis. We run that store together. The only thing I have is if it doesn't work out in their best interest for their driveway, I have offered them to move it to my business. I have 2 sheds. I have one in the front that's accessible. I got 2.5 acres there. There's plenty of parking. This, that, or whatnot. People are in and out of there all day long. I overhear you guys saying about like the food bank and all these other places, which that's great. But sometimes after 5, 6 o'clock at night, you can't go to the food bank. Sometimes when the food bank is open, on the certain days that the food bank is open, people can't go there. So to have this food cart accessible for these other people, the hardworking families, we need that. That's pretty much all I have to say.
So just hold that thought for a minute. Now, is that lot is where?
At 1659 Elk Street, it's the old KJ Mobile Homes lot across from the C-store.
And do you own that lot?
I do not. I rent that lot from Carla DeSavo. I am, if I'm correct, I am commercial now too, right? A little bit? So to take this away from our community, and I know that you guys have different things set in plan, the food bank and this and this and this. But if you meet half the people that I meet in my business that come in and need my help and the things that I give them, and to have that extra food just to be able to say, here, go to this and she can help you out, you have no idea how excited people are to have that other option because they cannot make it.
Well, and I also have a volunteer service called Caring Angels, to where on food bank days, I actually go pick up food for 17 families and deliver it. I have also been contacted by people to come pick up donations to drop off to Lori at the Up and Hands cart. So that it's cutting back on the traffic. I go around town, pick up all the donations, and then drop off a load of food. So that does sometimes cut down when they contact my volunteer service of Caring Angels.
Did I somehow miss your name?
Nikki Callis.
Sorry. So Lori, getting back to you really quick, is this an option?
This could be an option. To be honest, the reason why I feel that,
And we need to do it there too, Lori.
I mean, we can do it there too. I don't have a problem sharing or, doing it all over the place. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Hold on, let's not all over the place.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm right down the street from the low income on the Madison apartments, as well as the elderly apartments that are right there. So it's convenient for the kids to come down and get food for their little brother and sister to help feed them.
Okay, Nikki, we just burned up your time. Did you have anything else to say?
Yeah, this is the only other thing. So we have other options, like if she wants to spread it out, we could do it at my business if she wants, and that's up to her. However, whatever best suits the community, that's the whole reason why I started what I do and what she does, and we can all work together to try to get a game plan.
I think you hit the nail on the head. What we need to do is because I agree with what you're saying, the after-hours service is probably much needed, and especially over this last year, but we also have to make sure that everybody's rights are protected. Yours, the people that are opposed to it, who built a home in that neighborhood and didn't expect this type of thing, everybody has to be protected. Anybody else want to give comments before we move?
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Alicia Johnson. I am one of Lori's friends, and before she started picking up donations and before a back surgery or two, I was going and I was picking up donations, also serving to do deliveries, so that we could reach the people that can't get there. Because there's quite a few people in this town that are agoraphobic. I know like 3, and they are ecstatic that there's the hand-up food cart. They're like, could you go get me this for dinner if it's there? Well, yeah, I can do that. That's the whole reason. If you need a hand up, that's what it's there for. I'm in a lot of pain. So I'm like, trying to stand here and not burst into tears is because it's pain.
Could I get your name again? I'm sorry.
Alicia Johnson.
Alicia Johnson. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add, but it's a great service to the community.
Unless you know anything between concrete and pavement, asphalt, no, that's a whole nother story.
I do road construction, and I'm on workman's comp right now, so what question you got?
One question, going back to Lori and Glenn. Is somebody there all day at your residence?
Basically,
I go and watch it when they're out of town.
either Alicia's there, or Lori's there, or I'm there. There's somebody there 95% of the time.
Do people also drop off cash or just food?
They send cash to her via whatever it is, but it's like $10 because they stop, pick something up. The next day they realize, go buy a set of diapers or whatever. There's no,
Yeah,
and that's exactly where it goes, right over to the dollar store or whatever, and she buys what they told her.
So then that cash is used to
That's what it is.
refurbish
It
the.
just immediately goes right back over to the store.
Okay, let's hear from, Alicia, did you have anything else? I believe you have a little more time.
As far as like on the money wise and everything else like that, there's even a sign that says that's posted that says donations welcome, take what you need, leave what you can, take what you need.
Okay.
For those that can't really get to the store, or they're just like last minute Good Samaritan comes by and, well, here, go get diapers. If you're running low on diapers, here's $10-15, go get some diapers. Or if you're running low on formula, because that's one thing that I know a couple of the other public service places do not carry is the diapers, or they're extremely limited when they get them to hand them out, as well as formula and baby food. Yep. And to prove that it's not being pocketed and whatnot, as soon as what is bought for the hand-up food cart is purchased, a picture is taken of the receipt and it is sent to the person that sent the money, so that they know where it went.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hello, I'm Reverend Kelly Parrish Lucas. I'm the pastor at First Congregational Church at 1275 Adams Avenue in Rock Springs. I learned about the hand up food cart on Facebook and thought it was a really great idea. We get calls at the church all the time, people needing food and lodging and gas. We help who we can, but there's a real need for this service. Yes, we have a food bank, but it's only open 2 days a week. And it's on a busy road, and there's not a lot of shelter for people to be sheltered from the weather when it is open. So it is limited, and we need more food assistance in the community. So if you do need space, I also talked to the church council about it. We'd be willing to house this as well, but our church is at the end of a road up on top of the hill. There's not a ton of traffic. So it might not be the most accessible place for the people who need it, but we'd like to support this any way we can.
Thank you, Reverend. Anyone else?
My name's Allison Thompson, and I live at 50 Reliance Road, Lot 83, out in, right before Reliance. And I actually met Lori because my husband's the director of security at the White Mountain Mall, and Herberger's had left. And because Herberger's had left, one of his duties was, per the general manager, was to empty the Herberger's, all the, I guess you could say, the display cases and what have you. And we actually posted on Facebook saying, hey, we have all these things. The Herberger's we were trying to get prepared with the new store coming into town. And so we actually posted on Facebook saying, hey, we have all these display cases. And that's where I actually met Lori, with her coming to get the display cases to actually put and do the food cart. And because of her good nature, we specifically made sure that we held carts for her, because we know it's something that's really necessary. I actually worked at the Department of Workforce Services, so I can tell you from experience for almost a year working at the Department of Workforce Services that the unemployment rate, even though people think that it's going back up, I can tell you I'm personally on unemployment because of the COVID, the state cutbacks. I lost my job, and I can tell you that on the 15th of June, anybody that's on emergency pandemic unemployment will no longer have unemployment anymore. And that's a major impact, where they've been having their regular unemployment in a couple of weeks. All of that's gonna be completely gone. If they've completely used all of their unemployment, there's no more pandemic assistance at all. So the increase of people that are gonna be going to something like Lori is gonna increase significantly in the next couple of weeks. I've personally brought things, not just clothes, soap, clothing, blankets, anything that I have that I would normally take to Goodwill, I've personally taken to Lori's house and dropped off, because I would much rather give it to somebody that's gonna be able to just give it to somebody that doesn't have anything. And I felt it was really important to let you know that there's only a few of us here, but I can tell you that I have seen, since she started this, it blow up on Facebook of all the people that are supporting her that really want to help to try to keep this going. And I can tell you, if my boyfriend wasn't working or my fiance wasn't working at the mall, I personally would be one of the people that would be coming to her place to try to get food, because in a couple of weeks I won't have any income at all. So I wanted to show you the other side of it from being at the Department of Workforce Services, the big impact of, with all this COVID stuff going on. It may not seem like it, but I can tell you on a daily basis, we had 200 people a day coming in there to either file unemployment or to look for a job. So it's a big impact. So that's why I'm here supporting it. Thank you.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Michonne Harrington. I live at 975 Truman Street. I'm actually their neighbor. I can tell you firsthand that I am not experiencing more traffic. I don't even notice it. I do have people walking by my house. I see them come back walking by with bags. So I'm actually in between Lori and the Madison Apartments. I think what she's doing is a great thing. The location, come on, everything for assistance is downtown or on the other side of town. We've all walked through Rock Springs.
Okay, appreciate that. Any questions, councilors? Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hello, my name's Ann Cunningham. I was before you guys a few months ago, and I'm sorry if I was late, so I don't know what was already said or asked in my absence, but I just have a couple questions. Because I support this, at first, when I first seen it, I was like, how awesome, you know, especially in a time of a pandemic when, you know, people are barely scraping by, you know, when it comes to, you know, shelter, do you pay your rent or go get groceries and stuff? What is the difference between a person or a family having a garage sale and this hand-up food cart? Because that's conducting business, and from what I understand, this is all donations, nobody's paying for anything. What's the difference between like having a fundraiser or a bake sale? I've never heard of anybody getting shut down or not able to hold garage sales, so if you could like clarify that for me.
Well, I think, and the biggest concern is a garage sale usually goes on for a day or two.
Right.
And a bake sale, maybe a day or two, but you're talking about a constant 24/7, from what I understand, 7 days a week, correct?
Right.
And also the concern of perishable goods. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to be a naysayer, but I'd be concerned eventually county health would probably be involved in the perishable side of it. I don't know if you've heard from them or not, but that would be my take, because you're absolutely correct. I mean, if it was a 1-day event, 2-day event, that's one
Right.
thing. We're talking about not only ongoing 7 days a week, but 24 hours a day. Anybody could come. So,
Okay, that's all. I mean, I think a lot of people had those questions, you know, on rants and raves, and
yeah. Well, it's a good
just to-
question.
yeah, because I'm about to do a garage sale myself, so.
Well, you can't do it, no.
Oh,
That's what it is. It's just the ongoing,
the ongoing traffic.
continuous. I don't think anybody'd say a word. Well, let me just ask you a question. How long has the pantry been open and up for business, Lori? So 3 weeks. It's been going on 3 weeks. Then things start to come to a head. Then you get the people that are getting tired of it, and it's going on, and what's going on, and we have rules, and that's what happened. If you had a bake sale for 3 weeks going on, you'd probably have people complaining as well.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. That helps clarify some of my questions, but I am here to support these guys, so thanks for your time.
Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it. Next.
Angela Cable, 342 A Street. And kind of tagging on what she just said, I don't know that the fact that it's a continuous operation is really a good reason for this not to be going on. I have a business next door to me that is being run out of an unoccupied home, and that seems to be, in fact, I was told it was okay. I read the city ordinance, and the city ordinance says it's not, but I was told that it is in fact okay. So if that's okay to be going on in a residential area with a bunch of traffic and an employee parked out front all day long, I don't see why it should be a problem for her to do what she's doing, where there's far less traffic and it's not a business. There's no money involved with what she's doing. All she's doing is, how is this different than her opening up her door and handing a cup of sugar to the next door neighbor, which people used to do all the time? You used to help your neighbors out. wasn't a thing where people would complain that you're actually helping people. I just don't understand how that squares.
Well, Angelo, first off, the business next door to you went through the process and ended up with a home occupancy permit. The second thing, I totally agree with handing a cup of sugar out the door, but this is actually shelves that are out in the driveway and a refrigerator that people are constantly coming and going to. So we got to make sense of this entire thing. It's a little bit different, but I get your point, and I understand the service is needed. Obviously, the 24-hour thing, the after hours doesn't work when we're talking about areas like the city housing or the food bank and the like. I can see where somebody might need that off of hours, but that would be my take.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. Any others?
Hello, my name is Juan Valdez. I don't think my address is of any concern, but I came here to ask some other questions as well. If they are allowed to keep this establishment or this nonprofit going, the questions that also arise are, what are going to be the stipulations to, say, the next person going on forward? If you guys, I've came to the conclusion, you know, there is a couple ordinances that, you know, keep it inside. If there could be something stated from you guys, or, you know, of what the needs are to keep it in R2 zone just for the next guy, because apparently this is probably the first person that's tried this. There's going to be many more coming behind, because there probably is a need. There is a need, you know. Me as seeing it from little kids and stuff like that, stealing from the stores, stealing the macaroni and cheese, the small can of raviolis and stuff like that. I do see a need for this. I just want to kind of a direction from the city to see which way we're going to go about it for the next guy that's going to try this in another R2 zone. You know, what are going to be the stipulations to keep it into an R2 zone?
Well, I believe if you look at the ordinance, it kind of lays that out, what's allowed and what's not allowed.
So,
and that's kind of what had been, I believe, the conversations from before. It was outlined within that zoning, what is and isn't allowed, and what a home occupancy is.
Okay, so if they got like a home occupancy and then just kept it out of the site.
So, exactly. So the reason for the ordinances and how the ordinance came into existence from
and I completely
the
understand it.
inception
Yeah,
is
it's
because,
for everybody.
because everything was working fine, and all of a sudden, bam,
Yep.
something wasn't working fine, and everybody complained. So the city staff, Laura and her staff, all get together and they take a look at what's going on and how can we compare this to other cities that are doing this, they've done this. They take a look at legal and they see what will work, what won't work, and then they draft an ordinance that tries to protect everybody's rights.
Completely
Allows Lori to
understandable.
continue and maybe the neighbors to be able to allow it to continue,
Okay.
if you will.
So one of the biggest things is just to keep it off the eyesore of the neighbor, or like you'd say, keep it sheltered, like inside of a shed or something like that, off into your own property to where nobody could see it and get an occupancy.
So what I'm looking at, Juan, is I have like 11 people that support this and have some really good ideas. I ask you all to get together and bring the city a plan that you feel would work. And in doing that, take into consideration everyone that's around. Well, how can you make this work? Because it sounds like the city has told you what the ordinances are.
Yeah.
Even
And
found some
like
bit
you
of a
said, social
loophole.
media and everything ruins it for everybody, and
Oh,
you don't know
geez.
what's right and what's wrong.
No,
and
it's
that's the
it's
only
right.
reason
It's-
why I came down.
if
I'm in
it's on
support of
Facebook,
it as
it's
well, but
possible.
what
but
has
I-
been told to them or what it hasn't, or you know what social media has heard that you guys have said or haven't said, that's the only reason why I'm arising them questions, is that so everybody knows what
Right.
has been told to them.
Right.
You know, off like here.
But,
or whoever's watching it, I don't know if it's on webcam or not, or if you guys are still doing that.
It
or,
is,
you know.
and getting back to Counselor Zotti's comments, the ordinances do specify what you can do. We see this all the time. We see
Okay.
somebody start a home business in their home. They don't necessarily have the permitting. Somebody complains. They come in, they sit down with the city, they go through the rules, regulations, and
And I
they
can-
walk
yeah.
them through.
And I completely understand on that aspect of it, but since this one's, you know, everybody's confused with the nonprofit part. You know, since this is nonprofit, this ain't a business, you know, they're not making money out of this, why do they need an occupancy license through the city or wherever else? And that's the only reason why I'm asking these questions, so everybody else knows
Right.
where this is, or why you guys are putting a hold on it, and why, or which way we need to take as a city to make everybody else happy too.
Gotcha. I think Laura can probably
If I could-
expand on that.
Well,
What- go ahead.
I was gonna read from here, but if you've got, because on, the only permitted uses within R2 zoning district are single-family site-built dwellings, single-family dwellings, manufactured modular homes with permanent foundation, accessory dwelling, model home, and public park. The purpose statement of the R2 zoning district is to provide for the development at a low density of single-family detached dwellings, accessory dwelling units, and directly complementary uses. The R2 zone is intended to be strictly residential in character with a minimum of disturbances due to traffic or overcrowding. Now, it also, home occupation is defined as any use conducted entirely within a dwelling and carried on solely by the occupant thereof, which use is clearly incidental and secondary to the use of the dwelling for residential purposes and which meets the requirements of this ordinance. Now, the question of for-profit and business, there was a stipulation in there for profit, but that language was changed and for-profit was removed from the ordinance in 2014. So that's where that comes in. It doesn't make a difference if it's a nonprofit, for-profit, or whatever. The ordinance stipulates any activity like that is against the ordinance, and that's where that's coming from there.
So as long as the volume's slow, it's off of the side of the person, it shouldn't be a big issue?
Well, it doesn't say anything about volume. It's
High
any use
traffic.
conducted entirely within a dwelling and carried on solely by the occupant thereof. And that was what was explained, I believe, before, is if it was in the dwelling.
Okay.
It's kind of the loophole that would be acceptable, but this is not in the dwelling.
Since it's outside at the moment, yeah. So if it goes inside the garage or in a shed or, you know, something like that.
That's what guidance Lori was given
Okay.
through Kathy, is to get it inside. But my biggest concern is, and we've heard it a couple of times tonight, obviously, it sounds like everybody here who has commented, including yourself, tends to think these are gonna pop up all over and they're going to expand. So how are you gonna plan for expansion? What happens if the 25 people go to 50 people? And how do you keep all that material inside? Is your garage large enough to keep all those items inside?
Alrighty, yeah, those were my questions, you
No,
know.
good-
To try to move on, you
good
know,
question.
trying to find a resolution to
Right.
everything instead of
Appreciate
just
that.
putting a halt to it.
Yeah,
So just never know, I might be the next guy trying to pop one up down the street, you never know. And I'm just asking the questions for
Yeah.
the next guy.
no, I agree.
We appreciate it, thank you.
If you do though, Juan, buy a building in our great downtown area and set up a shop. That'd be great. Miners are good.
I just thought of something I wanted to bring up too. I know that there is a petition on on change.org too, of people that are trying to support this as well. And like he's saying, a lot of people have said that they're gonna start bringing them too, but you know, as an idea, you know, they have trunk or treat or trick or treat. She said that they have been delivering and picking them up. Maybe if it's something with the people that are supporting it, maybe somebody takes turns, like 1 week she has it at her house, another person has it at their house. and they're bringing the
There you go.
bags already prepared for anybody that comes.
Right.
And we post it on Facebook and say, hey, this is where it's gonna be at, or if you need us to drop it off, or something to do with people rotating it, because if it's being rotated, then it's not gonna be at her location all the time, and then that helps with reducing try to have the traffic on there. That's just a suggestion, you know, that maybe, you know, having these other people that are saying that they support it too, that are wanting to start one up too, that maybe people start rotating it, so.
But I
just
think
an
what
idea.
you're, Councilman Zadi, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just thinking with that and rotating, I think it'd cause a lot more confusion than anything for the people who want to use it. I
Yeah.
think, you know, in my mind, you're better off, you got a lot of people who are willing to put this and house this at a location that it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Move it there, make it permanent, and then if you have those people who are willing to support this and do the delivery and pickup and everything else, rotate those, and then it solves the need of, well, this is the good location because of the housing in the radius of the Truman Street.
Yeah,
What about people helping and delivering and picking up stuff, and having it at a location where it's acceptable?
Yeah.
And you still have that as an option.
definitely.
I think that, you know, it sounds like there's plenty of people in the community that are willing to help out and lend the property that's necessary to keep this moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm not gonna speak for everybody on council, but I can't imagine anybody would say there's no need for this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's definitely, obviously, there's a need, people are using it, and you're getting 20 to 25 people a day, that indicates there's a need for this.
Correct.
It's just a matter now of, let's do it and do it within the confines of the law and the ordinances that we have in place.
Right.
And that's the reason why we came here, is because obviously she wants to do it and not be in trouble for doing something, and that's why we came here, because we want to know what can and can't be done as well, too. So
Well,
that's-
my biggest concern also, in speaking with Lori before, and she mentioned it earlier, it doesn't sound the vast majority of these people that are using it are walking. They're coming from the housing unit, so if you were to rotate spaces, you'd take those people out. So that's not really the option, because then they miss out on the opportunity. My suggestion, and I don't speak on, for this entire council, but my suggestion is, and, Laura and Kathy from, city planning had offered a good opportunity, and ideas, is to put it inside. Glenn, I believe you and Lori said you can do that. It could continue to move forward, and in the meantime, get together and find out, you know, what it would take if it expands, you know, to where you are eventually going to have residents who do want to show up and are upset because the ordinances were defined for the R2 areas to be low impact from these types of situations. But if your neighbors are okay with it and we know it serves a need, then do it in a way that we take everybody's rights and feelings into consideration. That's
Sure.
my thoughts.
Thank you.
Sure, come on down.
As I already stated, I'm Alicia. I've lived in Rock Springs on 2 different occasions, from 2013, 2015, and then again from 2018 to current. Now, on the previous time when I lived here, this wasn't going on. I am routinely at Lori's house. She's my best friend. I drop my kid off with her all the time, which annoys me, and I get her kids. So I'm there a considerable amount of the time. There is no difference that I have seen or encountered from the traffic from 13 to 15 to recent with the opening of the hand-up food cart. There's not been a significant difference. When people do come do donations, it's 1 car at a time, because people are respectful of that. They say, are you available right now? She gets hit up on Facebook all day. When's a good time for me to bring it by? When's a good time for me to come pick up? There's not 50 million cars there. That's an exaggeration, but you get my point. There's not an overabundance of traffic on that road. That, and from College to Foothills, the presidential streets are a thoroughfare. Madison is a major road, so is Truman, because it's right there at the bus barn. So, you know, I'm not saying there's poor planning in the structure of the city or anything like that. I'm not saying that.
That's a good thing.
But, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the traffic, because I think I heard correctly, when you were defining the R2 statement about the residential, about impact of traffic or something like that, I have not seen it's been an insignificant increase, if anything, on the traffic due to the hand-up food cart.
I appreciate that. I can tell you, I'm going to state it again. I myself received several calls against this to continue, all of which wanted to remain anonymous. And my feeling is, and this city council takes a beating, elected officials take a beating trying to make sense of all this madness most of the time, but really it's our goal. We're not bad people.
I know.
We want to see good things happen for our
Right.
city,
Everybody does. There's a few
and I'm going to
miserable
say
mites.
the world is ran by the people that show up, and we'll make decisions by those people that want to voice their concerns and come and give us the pros and the cons. The city staff is very capable of an understanding of the ordinances, and obviously they offered some ways to continue to move forward. But I'm offering to you to take that with you as you go away and avoid future problems. Keep moving in the direction. Keep it inside, and if the operation grows in any way, plan for another location, because you are going to see people that finally will show up, and they're tired of it.
Okay. Because I got here a few minutes late, and I missed the first 10 minutes, I guess. Was there anyone here against it that spoke?
No, you got them all. Yeah.
That was my other question. Thank you.
So with that, I believe you have some direction. Lori, Glenn, do your best to go with that plan. And if the operation grows, just keep in mind that everybody has rights. You're serving the need, but don't get yourself in a predicament where you have numerous complaints and then the city is involved.
Okay, it's my understanding then we can go ahead and move it in the back, and she can operate, she can get with the city planning and zoning. So we got a 2 or 3 day grace till she can get in and make sure that everything's good to go.
So you're saying moving in the back in
Move
the
it
garage?
into the garage,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she said that we had to have it down by the 1st. We've done that. Is
Okay.
it all right now for her? Because we've got so many donations that we've at least got to give that away. That we got a trailer full. So have I got 2 or 3 days till Lori gets it figured out what she needs to do?
Laura?
I'd be okay by the end of the week if they can get it
Is it
all
okay?
moved
Does that give you
in.
time, Glenn?
Home occupation application, I believe Kathy already gave you guys one of these.
Lori can, nope, Lori can take care of that.
There you go.
And then if we could just get that by the end of this week.
Okay, thank you so much, Laura.
We can open the shed and move everything back, and we can carry on until they figure out what we need to do.
Glenn, you're golden.
Thank you, guys.
Get her done.
Appreciate your guys' time. I'm sorry.
I'd like to make.
Oh, hold on, Councilman Batolo?
I'd like to make one more comment. First of all, God bless you guys. Thank you. I mean, you guys are doing the community a great service. I think what we've heard here tonight, and the mayor touched on it, is you've got some people here that are willing to deliver. You've got another location that is fairly close to low-income housing at the church. If you don't have it dead set on wanting it to be right there, you've got some other options to maybe expand and help more people. So all I'm saying is consider that as well.
We got till the end of the week, her heart's in it, and we're gonna carry on.
Okay, thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
it. That being said, we're still under the petition section. Is there anyone else here tonight wishing to address the council on any issue whatsoever? Now is your time.
She does. Since it's come to mind, and I live on Truman Street, what is the YWCA zoned as?
Excuse me, say that again?
The YWCA? The daycare slash swimming pool that's no longer working.
Pull that map up, unless Laura, you know offhand. Rob's got it.
Let's see, what's the address of it?
Jackson.
Yeah, that's right.
Like 1042 or something.
Yeah, okay, so that's R3.
R3. R3.
So what is the difference between R3 and R2? Because I don't have a thing in front of me.
Laura Lee, that's a question for you.
So in an R2 district, as well as in an R3 district, public buildings are conditionally permitted uses within those districts, and that's how the YWCA is permitted,
That's what I thought.
is as a
Yeah.
conditionally permitted use.
Okay.
On the YWCA, one of the reasons why I bought my house was because of the free swimming pool. I was right by my kid's school. Now they've closed my kid's school, and the swimming pool doesn't work anymore either. So, while we're on that, is
So
there any
the-
way we could fix that swimming pool?
There is not.
There's
The
not?
swimming pool will actually be filled and removed. It is filled with dirt, not water. The pool had extensive maintenance issues, leaked, and the whole intention eventually is the YWCA intends to build an addition where the area of the pool is.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask since I was here.
And just for further information, long-term plan is the YWCA will most likely purchase that property if it goes in that direction.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Juan. Yeah, take care. Still on petitions, anyone wishing to speak? Hearing none. Going to close the petition section and move on to our council committee and board reports. We have item number 1, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting minutes of April 8th, 2021. Item number 2, Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2021. And item number 3, the Joint Powers Combined Communication Board meeting minutes of April 26th, 2021. Councilors, I would entertain a motion to approve the councilor committee and board reports and place them on file.
Your Honor,
Councilman Vitolo,
so moved.
we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this move us on to the correspondence section of our agenda. Councilors, if you've had time to take a look at the correspondence, if you have questions, bring them up. If not, I would also entertain a motion to approve the correspondence and place them on file.
Move to approve.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This can bring us to the bills and claims section of our agenda. Councilors, number 1 is the bills and claims for June 1st, 2021. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for June 1st, 2021.
Councilors, we do have a motion to approve the bills and claims for June 1st, 2021. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And item number 2, the salaries for May 21st, 2021. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for May 21st, 2021.
We do have a motion to approve the salaries for May 21st, 2021. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, councilors, take us to the new business section of our agenda, which we have 6 items. Item number 1 is a request from Wells Fargo Bank, NA, for approval of a depository application. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second has been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2, the request from the police department for permission to apply for the Bulletproof Vest Grant. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Halter?
move to approve that request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 3 is a recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to reduce the price of the Civic Center's golf simulator by 50% during the summer hours. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve this recommendation.
We do have a motion to approve this recommendation. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 4 is a recommendation from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to allow residents of the Foothill Crossing subdivision to assist with installing a neighborhood park through donations, design, and volunteer assistance in improving the park after design is complete. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes. I make a motion that we approve this recommendation.
We do have a motion to approve this recommendation. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 5 is a request from Jess's Grill for permission to extend their serving area for the 3rd annual Bags, Brews, and Bites Cornhole Tournament on June 26, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo?
I move to approve this request.
We have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Let the record show. And item number 6 is a request from the Poor House for permission to extend their serving area for the annual Heiner Poker Run event on June 26, 2021, from 9 a.m. through regular closing hours. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo?
move to approve this request.
We have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
That's early.
9
Second.
a.m. is early. That's some serious.
5 p.m. somewhere.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this moves us on to the resolutions, councilors, and item number 1 is resolution 2021-69.
A resolution accepting and approving a professional service contract with Summit Studio to provide historic tax credit compliance consulting and application preparation services for the renovation of the First Security Bank building, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs to execute said contract on behalf of said city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-69.
We do have a motion to approve resolution 2021-69. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Batolo,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes, and just a thank you to Matt and Rick for some research and a lot of time back and forth in trying to resolve. This is new ground for us, but I think it's going to be a great opportunity. I appreciate the efforts that you guys did. Item number 2, resolution 2021-70.
A resolution accepting and approving a master equity lease agreement between Enterprise Fleet Management and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said master equity lease agreement on behalf of the city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo.
move to approve Resolution 2021-70.
We do have a motion to approve resolution 2021-70. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. It's going to bring us on to our ordinance section. We have one ordinance on second reading, ordinance 2021-06.
An ordinance amending Article 10-1 of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, entitled Liquor License, whereas the governing body of the City of Rock Springs, as the local licensing authority, finds that amendments to local ordinances regarding catering permits and malt beverage permits are needed to make local ordinances consistent with state statute and to give authority to the mayor to authorize the issue of malt beverage and catering permits.
Your Honor,
Councilman Zadi.
I'd like to offer an amendment to this ordinance, if I could. I like the idea of given that authority to the mayor for the one-day permit, maybe 24-hour malt beverage permits. I would still like the multi-day events to go before council, just because those tend to get a little more attention, and maybe there's more requirements or something that, like, police department wants to see, and that they're just more heavily attended, like the fair, rodeo, racetrack, Bud Cup, and other events. I think I would like to see those still go before council for approval, for any multi-day malt beverage permit request. Amend the ordinance to reflect that.
Councilors, we have an amendment on ordinance 2021-06 on the second reading. As you heard, do we have a second on the amendment?
I'll second.
We got a second on the amendment. Roll call.
Councilor Savage,
So how would that read? I mean, that was pretty lengthy.
Rick, that's to you.
If I may, Councilor Zadi, that's the question I have. What is precisely the amendment that you are proposing?
For any multi-day request, that those go before council for approval.
Any multi-day requests?
Single-day requests, you know,
You know, the
fair.
the
weddings.
fair.
Yeah, the multi-day, like the fair, rodeo, racetrack, Bud Cup, ones I can think of.
Blues and Brews.
But you don't want all that in there.
International days.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
International
I
days,
understand.
yeah.
Blues and Brews.
But just the
Well, Blues and
multi-day.
Brews is only one day.
Well, Brews and Brews is only one day, so is International Days.
It
yeah.
should be 3.
Your Honor.
but- Okay.
Wouldn't it be easier to list it, to give authority to the mayor to authorize the issuance of single event malt, single day malt beverage and liquor catering permits? other
That
than-
would accomplish basically what I would want to see there. Yeah.
Wouldn't that cover it?
I will fix that up.
And we'll
then
take a
we'll
stab at it
present
on-
to council at the next meeting and
Okay.
make sure that it comports. Well, actually, I'll send it to you to make sure that it
Yeah,
comports.
we'll
with
take a
exactly
stab
what
at
you're
it on
talking
I
third.
apologize,
That's okay.
I was a week behind. I wanted to get to it, I
Well,
forgot we had
second
a meeting
reading.
today, so, last week.
That being said,
We want to amend it next.
Savage,
Up to me. Sure, yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Vitolo,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
yes. Okay, we'll take a look at that on third, and councilors, I just wanted to take just a moment, being as it's public information at this point, and announce today at the commissioners' meeting, to wish Sweetwater County Treasurer Rob Slaughter a happy retirement. This guy's been stellar, served our county for 33 years. Rob's been a great friend and has always offered his assistance and expertise during many financial concerns and questions. We've always worked together. I know Matt and Alex lean on him continuously. He's served our county and our cities and towns very well. He leaves very big shoes to fill. And his staff's very capable of carrying on the torch, and that's due to his leadership. And we just wish Rob and his family the very best in retirement. And we here in Rock Springs thank him for his leadership and service to the county of Sweetwater. And with that, no further business to come before
Your
this
Honor?
governing. Yes.
Before you hit the gavel. Hey, I don't know if anybody else did, but I didn't get any calls about the cemetery, and we were up there several times over the weekend, and it really looked great.
Oh, great.
And so pass that on, please.
I will, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul, for your staff. Okay, once again, with no further business to come before the city council, this meeting is adjourned.